All right, so let's get going on our project. And we're going to create this little, that little wreath first. And then this one I already pre-stamped. I didn't pre-stamp the little mouse on there because I want to show you something with the tail. But I went ahead and pre-stamped this. Basically, it's the same two colors on the bucket. So the dark blue and the dark brown. 565, 969. I just took a little bit of the corner off and stamped it off twice. And then I've got my little bucket. So basically the same way that we do everything else. The pumpkins are just stamped in the brown. So the 969, just the brown, and stamped off at least one time, once or twice. And then I stamped this one here. Now this one, these are clear, so you can see where they're going. So you can see exactly, you know, how you want to do this. These three are the same pumpkin. So this one right here, and I just, you know, masked off the edge of the bucket, stamped this little guy in here, and then masked this off and stamped it again over here. And I just inked part of the stem. So just to make it look a little different, I didn't ink the whole crook of it. And so it looks like a different pumpkin. And then this little one up here is that little one that we're going to be using in the wreath. So these two are from, let me show you where those guys are from. They're from the pumpkin set from last year. So this one, and then we're using this greenery too. So we're going to use some of these little vines that come out of the pumpkins here. Just love them. So this pumpkin right here, that's the one that's inside this bucket. But again, any of these pumpkins from any of these sets are going to work. And how cute would these little squash be in here too? Those would be really cute. So many options, you guys, just so many options. Okay, I'm going to set this stack of things aside so that I have a little more room to work here. Anybody have any questions so far? What are your comments? What do you guys think of this journal? It's the beginning of the story. Okay, Sue, on the cover, it's the beginning of the story. Yes, it is. The cover is really important because it does set the tone of the journal. I do the cover last. I have the whole entire journal done before I do the cover because you're right, it does. And sometimes you're not really sure what to put on the cover until you get the whole thing done and you sort of have a feel for it. So it does make a difference. Yep, you're absolutely right. Okay, let's start with the wreath. Kathy Hales, love the fall journal. Love this journal, Georgia. Thank you so much. Oh, Amy, everything you make is amazing. You guys are the most encouraging. I get the nicest comments and just the kindest words from all of you. And it just makes me happy. I just can't. I mean, I just am so appreciative. Carol, love this journal. Great. Teresa, love this journal. This journal is so amazing. Diane, thank you so much. I can't wait to see what you guys do. And honestly, like I said, these pages are just to inspire you. They don't have to be, you know, if you're making this journal, you could make several pages the same as mine and then do something different on the other pages. Make them simpler if you want to. Like, look at this thing. It's just, you can't even close it. But, so use it as inspiration. Think about these pages as inspiration and then, you know, kind of make it your own. So, okay. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to get our die. This is the die that we're going to be using and we're going to use it as a guideline so that we can, cut it out. So what I did on mine was I took a pencil and I just drew a pencil line, around the inside of the die. So I know here are my parameters and I've actually got a little bit farther out here, you know, so I can put a little line out here. It's okay to go outside of this line. You know, we don't have to have everything, you know, inside here. So if something goes outside of this line, it's okay. It's totally fine. It's going to look really good. Just cut out, when we cut it out. So you could also, I mean, I guess you could just, you know, draw a line around here too. We're going to erase all of these lines, but this sort of gives us a parameter as to what we're going to be using. So, you know, on the inside, you could also just sort of pencil in your sentiment. If you want to put a sentiment in here, you don't necessarily have to put a sentiment in. You could put a little pumpkin, another little pumpkin kind of right in the middle, maybe with a little bird or a heart. It doesn't have to be a sentiment. So I put the I love fall most of all. And, you know, you could just kind of measure this. You know, I just picked, you know, one of the small rectangles and just cut it out. But if you know what you're going to use, you could sort of pencil that in. So then you really kind of know what your guidelines are. And then, like I said, we're going to erase all of this. Okay, so now let's get our 3 stamps that we're going to use. So literally these 3. So let me show you again what sets they are. Although you guys probably know because I have used this little stamp so much. This one right here. It's the perfect size of for a leaf. And there are other things that you can use too. So I try to make it simple, but always keep in mind that what you have is probably going to work. So if you don't have this set and you've got something else with a leaf on it, even this one would be really cute. You can pull that out and use it. So don't feel like, oh, I've used 16 sets in this journal and now you have to buy 16 sets. You don't. You don't. This is a collection and many, many, many of these things will overlap. So if you have a little vine with a small leaf on it, you can use that. It's going to work. So these are the go-tos. I go to these all the time because it's a right and a left, which I love. And then my branches. And this one for me is the go-to, especially for small things like wreaths, because the lines are really simple. They're really simple. And so when you stamp them again, they don't get too busy. And that's why, and they're thin. So this is the gold star in this set, although I have used all of them numerous times, but this is the go-to one in this set. And I have it out all the time because I literally use it constantly. You guys know if you watch any of my tutorials, like these are the go-tos. The little grasses, you can use. So I haven't used them much in the journal. I haven't used them very much. That doesn't mean you can't. You know what else I haven't used in here? You guys will be shocked. The white paint. I have not used any white paint in this journal. I'm shocked by that. And that doesn't mean I'm not going to go back in it and add some white paint just somewhere. But I really haven't because I haven't used a lot of grasses and vines down here on the bottom. And, you know, as far as highlights go, you know, we can kind of leave those. So we don't really need to add highlights in here. Unless you want to do something decorative, like maybe use the white paint to add something decorative to the pail. You can use that too, or maybe some white spaces. Anything that's more concentrated like this, you can use the white paint in. So little white dots would be really cute in here. I just, in this case, I liked how these colors blended together and I felt like they were kind of more in the background. So I didn't really need to add that white paint to it. However, I just, you know what, I might change my mind on that. So to be determined. So here's the grass. So if you want to use the grass in any of these sections, you can. All right, these are really, okay, so these are not for the first one. This is for the first, so let me get those out because these are for this project here. And actually, let me grab that other one that I think I just showed you. Where is that? This one. This one right here. So this is the pumpkin I used, and it's because it's small. That's the only reason I picked it. It's small, but there are other pumpkins that you can use that will work great. And if they're too big, just put 3 in. You know, I put 4 in mine, but if they're big, just put like 1, 2, and 3 in here. So they're still going to work great. You've got plenty of room for a pumpkin, you know, that maybe isn't quite as small as this one. Okay, so let's get going. That's what we're using. And then our colors, we've got, you know, the 933, the orange. We've got the warm red, the 856. This is the warm red. This has yellow in it. So it's a warm. And then the dark blue, so the 565. So we're gonna use those three. And then my new color, 312, my new favorite color. So if you guys are ordering any of these, get this pen too. Just get it. They're so cheap. And if you've got an order, you know, in-house and you're ordering any of these special release, get this pen. I mean, you're going to love this pen. I absolutely love it. And it works really well with the dark green too. So the, you know, the cool green, this one, it works really well with this too, the 249. It's a lighter version. It has a little bit more blue in it. A little bit more warm. It's a little warmer color. And I absolutely love it because this is what I mix all the time. I mix this all the time. And, you know, here it is in the color. And I don't even know where I saw it because I usually just use the colors that we carry. And somehow this ended up in my box of colors. And I'm like, oh my word, where has 312 been my whole life? So I love this. I would really encourage you to add this to your order. If you're ordering, just get this pen. All right. So these 4 colors are what we're going to be using in this journal or in this wreath. So let's see. Oh, one more color. So we're going to use this color and we're going to use this to stamp the little branch. So not a dark brown, but a kind of a it's kind of an olive brown. I think it's called olive brown, but it's more of a green to me. So we're going to be using that when we stamp the branches. So those are the colors that we'll be using. And let me grab my palette and my water and get all of this out of the way. You know, my workspace just gets smaller and smaller, you know, because I have my stuff spread out everywhere. And I'm not one of those organized people, you guys. I just am not. That is something that I struggle with. If you guys saw my office, and some of you did when the camera malfunctioned, saw my office and how messy it is. It's so messy. But there's something, you know, and tell me if you guys are like this too, but for me, there's something kind of comforting about clutter a little bit. That sounds really weird to say that, but it's something comforting about that. And I love my walls covered in things. One of these days, I'll get my office picked up, you guys, and I'll give you a tour. And it is full of clutter and things that just kind of make me happy. And my walls are covered. Everything is covered with stuff. And it's comforting to me. I love it. It's warm. It's my happy place. So I have clutter everywhere. And so, you know, hence my workspace, my table where I work is also just a cluttery mess. So it does get to a point where it does close in on you. And so you do have to, you know, eventually sort of clean it up, but it just becomes messy again. So that's just how it goes. Okay. Let's get going here. I'm going to grab a piece of scratch paper because we are going to stamp off some of these things. And I'm just going to guess, you know, where these are going. You know, I can kind of see. So I also, you know, I don't know if you guys do this, but this helps me to put things in the corner. It helps me to put things into the corner. And then I know where the parameters are when I go to stamp things, you know, and especially with rubber. When it's clear, you can see exactly where it's going. So I can just eyeball and I can see, you know, how I want to turn everything and where I want to put it. But you know, when it's rubber, you, to be safe, you have to use a positioner. But if you want to just eyeball it, I put everything up in the corner. It doesn't matter what I'm doing and when I'm stamping. And look at this. This is up in the corner, this little mouse. So this is what I do. And then I can see right here in the corner exactly where it's going. So helpful tip. All right, so we're going to be using the dark brown. And we're going to just ink this whole thing up. And I'm going to stamp it off twice. So 1, 2, because I don't want it that dark. And then I'm going to just start adding it into my wreath. And I can just keep huffing on it, you know, like this. And if I get some more to the inside, and I can get one more impression. And that's fine. So I've got them, you know, kind of spread out a little bit. They don't all have to be in the same place. But I could probably add another one here, but I think we're good on that. So I don't need this one anymore. I don't need that that one. So now we're just going to go to these. So the next thing we're going to do is add some color. And I'm going to add my green. This is just the most beautiful green, you guys. I just love it. I think this just makes the, it just makes the whole journal. It really does. And it's so different because you wouldn't think that this soft green would be fall, but it is. It so is. We've made it fall. Okay, so now I'm going to dip my brush in water. I've got my number 4, and I'm just going to pull the color out of the line. So just a little bit like this. I want to get my color on before I start stamping stuff all over these pumpkins, because it's a little harder to add the color to them once they've got, you know, branches and everything else stamped on the top of them. So the darkest color is going to be in the crease, and then these are domes here. So these are going to have a highlight. So we're going to concentrate that darker color, you know, into these creases, and then we're going to keep this area, especially right here, we're going to keep that light. Okay, so now I've got my green. So let's start adding some of this color to these pumpkins. So always, you know, start where it's the darkest and then pinch it off. Add a little color back here. And it doesn't matter if you watercolor over your pencil lines. They're gonna erase just fine. And you know, don't overthink this, because we're just getting color on here. And if you can leave some white spaces, you know, that's always a win. It's always a win. And you know, we can come back. We can come back later and add a little more color to them too. And this one, so darker here, and then pinch off your brush and kind of drag that color to the center. And, you know, always dip your brush and pinch it off. Always do that. Never dip your brush and add it right to your paper. It's too much water. So you always need to be pinching it off. And then, of course, your fingers get inked up. But, you know, that's all part of being an artist. You're going to get inked up. But it does wash off eventually. I feel like my hands are always inked up. It doesn't matter where I go, I've got ink on my hands from watercolor. Okay, so we've got these colored. So cute. And you know what? You can make these white also. That would be really cute. You could do them white. And I think I've done that before. I have done that before. And they turn out so cute. Okay, so now we're going to darken these stems. We're just going to darken them. And you know, you can make them all just a little different too. Make them, some of them a little narrower, some of them a little wider. You won't be able to tell if you change them a little bit. But see how that makes them just pop. And just use, you know, small, just kind of straight lines. It's kind of the texture of them. And we need them to be really dark. Okay, we're making progress. All right, so now I'm just gonna touch them with a little bit of water, just kind of blend it out a little bit. Like so. All right, so now we're going to start adding a little bit of color to the background, and that's this dark blue. And I'm just going to put a little bit of it just kind of here and there, kind of right around the little pumpkins. Just to add a little bit of background color. This really makes a difference. It really does. It's kind of one of those little things that if you do it, or if you don't do it, you can tell. It just adds a lot of depth. And just kind of, you know, push it around. A little bit over here. And this. And then, you know, just a little bit darker next to the pumpkins because it sort of creates a little shadow effect. Okay, there we go. All right, so now we're going to start, make sure that's dry first. And this color dries pretty fast. Now we're going to add our little branches in. So we're going to do that with this olive brown. And, you know, just turn your canvas, you know, so that you can get a better view. And you can stamp them, you know, any direction. So we could stamp this one kind of coming up this direction. And it's okay if they go outside of the lines. We're going to we'll just cut those off. And then maybe this one kind of comes down like this. And maybe this one kind of comes around like so. And just, you know, just wherever. And then we may add some more things to the center. Once we get it cut out and see how much space we have in the middle, we can add more of these vines in here. All right, so now we're going to put our leaves on, and really, we're almost done with this, you guys. This is so easy. So easy. Okay, so I'm going to use my orange, and I'm just using the tip. So about half of this little vine. And, you know, I'm just kind of adding a little bit of this orange in here. Kind of at the end of these little branches. Don't overdo it with this. Because it's not spring where everything is really, you know, has a lot of green and foliage. This is a little sparser, and so we see those branches, those bare branches a little bit more. So we don't want to give that idea that, you know, everything is blooming. And just keep turning. You know, it's easier to see and stamp when you turn your canvas. So just in here, and then maybe we just put one here, and then just kind of look at it and see if there's anywhere else that you want to put it. Put a few more to the center, and maybe this way. All right, so now we're going to change out, and we're going to go to the red right on top of the orange. And we're going to do the same thing. And red, you know, is pretty dark, so you just want to be careful that you don't get too much of it on here. Just kind of put a little bit where the orange is, just a little bit, because you can always come back in and add more. Let's see, maybe just one more there. And then let's get another one here, and maybe here. Okay, so let's see how this is coming together. All right, so now I'm going to dip my brush in water. And I'm not going to pinch it off as much as I normally do. I want it to be pretty wet. So I want to just touch these colors with my brush. Just let them kind of all bleed out. And make a few little dots here and there. And then just let it dry without doing any brush strokes. So we want this to kind of bleed together a little bit more, so we get that orange and red mix of color. So I'm still dipping my brush and pinching it off, but I'm not pinching it off as much as I would normally. And you can see how pretty those colors are as they just kind of blend together. Just a really light touch with your brush. And you can see I'm making extra little dots kind of here and there. And they're kind of, you know, blending in with the branches too, and that's totally fine. Okay. So cute. Let me hold this up so that you can see. See how those colors just blend together? They really kind of just bleed out. And then we're just adding a little bit, a few little dots, because you've got a lot of color on your brush from touching all of these little branches. All right, so now let's let that dry. Make sure that that is thoroughly dry. And then we'll go in and add a few more little branches here and there. And then we're gonna cut it and see if we need to add something more to the inside. And I feel like we kind of need something a little bit more in here, maybe just another little branch. Let's see, is this dry? Okay, that looks pretty dry. All right, so maybe let's just get a little bit more of this. In here, and I think maybe just a little bit more in here. Okay, so now I'm going to take my red, my bullet tip, and I'm going to make some little red berries in here. Just add a few little and they don't have to be perfectly round. And you know, it's better to kind of make them, put them in groups of like 2 or 3. Could put a few in here. Okay, look how cute that is. Look how simple. I mean, honestly, that is the simplest thing ever. Now, let's get a few more branches in here. And you know what? Let's let's erase the lines. And then we're going to cut this out. I've got my big shot sitting here next to me, so we can just cut this out. And see where we're at, and if we need to add a little bit more to the center. Take this out. Okay, I think I got all the pencil lines off of there. So see, everything erases just fine. And I'm gonna just take my my die and just put it on here. And now I can kind of see where I want to want this die to cut. So I think right there, I think that's pretty good right there. I've got some of this pumpkin still inside, this one, maybe just up a little bit. I think that's probably pretty good. So let me just tape this down with some washi tape. Okay? All right, I got my big shot over here, so I'm just gonna run this through. Okay, so we've got our, look how cute that is. Oh, I just love that so much. I just think that is just so cute. And now we can pop this up, you know, on our journal and have this frame be on the bottom. Look how cute that is. Okay, so I'm going to add some more to the middle because I feel like we need to get some more of this in here. We've got kind of got a sparse middle here. So I'm going to just add a few more of the little branches. And maybe we'll just go down like this. This green isn't as harsh as using a brown when you go to put these branches in. Okay, so there, and then let's get a few more of these in. Just a few kind of in the middle. Okay, I think that's pretty good. And then we can just add our sentiment. So just, you know what, just tap it and let it just bleed out. Get it a little wetter than you normally would. I just think that is just turns out so cute. And I'm going to add just a little bit more blue in here. Okay, so we've got this one finished. This little wreath finished. How cute is that? Love it. Love it. Okay, let's set that aside. And let's go on to our other project. So this one. And we're going to do we're going to do these pumpkins in 3 different colors. So we're going to do the orange, the green, and we're going to leave one white. So let's get some orange onto our palette. And some red. So we're going to need some red too. So the 856, the 933, the 565, and then the 312. So let's start out by pulling the color out of the lines. Just kind of follow these lines along the side. And the same with the little pumpkins. This is always the first step, is just pulling the color out of the lines and then adding the color to it. Okay, so let's start out with some red on the base. And we're just, you know, we're putting it in where it's the darkest. So that would be on the sides. So just like this, pinch it off and then drag it to the center. And then just make sure that the sides are really dark. Just like so. And then I just put a little decorative stripe here. Like so. And then we can add, since we're going to leave this part white, so we can add a little shadow here. Just just a little bit of a shadow on the side. And this little handle. And let's just add a little color to this. And then we need a little shadow under that handle. So a little shadow like that. Now let's add some color to the pumpkins. You just get really good at coloring pumpkins because you just make so many of them. So we're adding this orange in here. And then let's do one more orange up here. So let's do this one. And just leave those little highlights, you know, where that, this little rounded part is. So we want to keep it darker, you know, in these creases. And then just a little bit highlight on these contours. And just leave those little white spaces. So now let's do the white pumpkin. Let's do this one up here. We just have to get a little bit of that blue on there, and that one's good. And then we can do the green one. This one right here. Okay. That turned out so cute. Okay, I'm going to get my fine tip and I'm going to darken these little stems. Just add that dark color in here. It just really makes everything just kind of pop. And I think we need to make this a little darker inside this handle too. Okay. Something about pumpkins that are just absolutely so fun to color. They are. And all these different colors are they're just so cute. Okay, so now let's add some foliage. Well, let's put the little mouse in. So this little guy right here. So I'm going to use my, you know what? I think I can see where that's going. You know what? I'm going to use my positioner just to make sure. He's so tiny. So let's just do that. I'm going to use my dark brown. And I'm going to color everything but the tail. I'm going to leave the tail off. And I can see that I'm going to put him right here. He looks perfect right there. Like so. And then I'm going to switch to my little brush. And just pull this color out of the lines. He's so little, but he's so cute. So cute adding these little critters on here. And Kim, I could hear Kim in my ear. Mom, you don't have any animals in that picture. There's no animals. There's no birds and no animals. She always says that. I don't know if she can actually do a project. I mean, I'm sure she can, but her first choice would be to have animals in it somewhere. So I've got his little belly. I left his little belly white. And then let's give him just some little pink cheeks. Like so. So simple. These little guys are so simple to do. And then I'm going to take my twin tone and really darken his eye and his little nose. And here's what I wanted to show you about the tail. So I left the tail off. The tail on the stamp goes straight. So here's what the tail looks like. So it goes goes around like this, but you can change the tail depending on where it is. So you can just make a little tail like this. So just a little, loopy loop thing like that. And you've got a cute little mouse's tail. And then you could kind of put it wherever, because this would be a little hard to put him on this pumpkin with his tail going the way that it is. So I just left it off, and then I made a little kind of loop-de-loop like that. Okay, let's see. Okay, so our foliage. We need to get our foliage in. So I'm going to put in the sky first. And I'm going to take some of this blue and just put in a little blue of this blue. Just a little bit like this. And we're going to be cutting out, cutting this out with the die. So I don't have to get too much of this in here. And then I'm going to just make a little shadow under here. Like so. All right, so now let's get our little foliage in here. And where is that set of foliage? Okay, here's where everything closes in, you guys. And where is that? Is it here? No. Well, maybe the foliage isn't going to be on this. Okay, hang on. I'm looking, you guys. Don't leave me. Don't leave me. Where is that? Where is that? This is why my desk. Okay, you guys. We may have to add that later. We may have to add those little leaves later. But for now, we can actually, you know what? I'm gonna look one more place. Don't leave. Don't leave. I'll be right back. Hang on. Okay, I found it. I found it. Okay, here are the little leaves. You know what? We had to have these because we're going to cut this out. So, we got to have it. So let's take this little guy, and then let's take this little one. And these are the ones that we've used. This one here and this one here. So I'm going to add this to my stamp like this, and I can see exactly where this is going to go. And I think I will just put this one maybe right here. And I'm going to just ink it in that green. So in this green. And maybe we just put this one up here. And then maybe we do another one kind of up here. And then maybe we do the smaller one. Okay, I think we got enough in here. So I'm going to take my little brush now, and I'm just going to blend the lines out and add some color now to these little leaves. And I can take a little more color from my palette too, and just kind of darken these a little bit. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. So I'm going to take my die again and look at it and decide, okay, where are we going to place it? I think that is pretty good right there. So what did I do with here? And just tape this down. Are you guys still with me? Who's still on with me, you guys? Okay, I'm going to run this through my Big Shot. Okay, here we go. Who's still on? Okay, Judy is still on. Okay, Valerie, Cheryl, Carol, yes, you guys are just the best. Just the best. Okay, so here we go. I've got my little thing cut out. All right, so I'm going to now, we're gonna now assemble this, you guys. We're gonna put this in the journal. So we got to do that. All right, so here's my journal. And I've used just this kind of off-white paper. So we're gonna put in we're gonna do our first page. So let's do our cover first. So I'm gonna just lay this out like this, and we're gonna do the cover. Wow, if you guys saw my desk right now, you would be just, you'd be shocked. You'd be just shocked. Okay, I have stuff everywhere. All right, so I've cut out these cover dies. So you guys know which set of cover dies these are. These are the ones that cut out so that you can layer. And I've got, I cut out a couple of them. Not that one. This one here. And I'm just going to layer them on top of each other like this. So I'm going to glue this one down first with my glue. And you know, it doesn't matter what paper you put on here, honestly. It's all gonna be cute. So whatever combination you have, it's gonna be really cute. Okay, so now this one goes on top. It's gonna go probably right about there. I think that's pretty close. All right, and then we're gonna glue on. So I just cut another piece of white cardstock or white watercolor paper, and I'm just gonna put this in the middle. So just right in the center. And I just used the back side of these. So I just cut another one of these and then just use the back side and then just cut the other side. Okay, so now we can glue our frame down. Diane, it's a good one. You'll enjoy the replay. Oh gosh, will I? Or will I be like, this is what happens if you're not prepared. Make sure you're prepared so you don't forget the sets that you're using. Okay, so now I'm going to use some pop-ups. And let's just see. Maybe I'll just use these little guys. And we'll just put these on. You could, I mean, you don't need a ton of these really. And I'm the person too who I've got to be ready, you know, an hour ahead of time. So my kids all know that too, and they'll joke about it and call me, you know, an hour and a half before my live and say, "Are you at your desk ready to go?" And yeah, of course I am. So I'm always I'm always so ready early. And then sometimes I have people in here that can just go get me things if I forget them. But sometimes stuff just happens, like that time with my the camera, and you guys saw my okay, who was on during that time and saw that? Okay, Marianne, in order to save that precious paper, whatever area is going to be covered by another, I use a die cut like an oval or yes, that is a great idea. And you can also lay your die so that it's over the top. So for example, if I was just going to use this part of the die, I could cut the other side and just lay it over so that the die is kind of hanging over and just cut this edge. So yes, that's a great point, you know, to always be aware of that. And I do that too. You know, especially when I'm making stuff just for myself. I always save all the scraps. Do you guys do that? I mean, I have a pile of little scraps, and most of the time I can't even get back to use them, but it just makes me feel better not to throw them away. So, you know, what is that about us? Okay, I finally got these little guys on. Make sure this is the right way. Okay, look at how cute that is. That is so cute. And then the little sentiment, of course, is going to go in there, go right into the center. Oh, we've got that cute little top on there. So let's go to the middle. And what do we have here? So we've got we've got this one. Oh, we need to put the page in first. Let's put the page in. Actually, let's do the page and then we'll glue it in. So let's do this one. And so let's put this on now. Okay, who's going to try? How many of you guys are going to try this with your dies? Because, wow, if I just in love with this whole look. And now I'm going to do it with all of my frame dies. I'm just going to do it like this because I just think it's so cute. And it adds a lot to it. Okay, so now, oh, here we go again with the pop-ups, you guys. Okay, so let's get these out. Yeah, save my precious scraps. Yes, Diane. I'm beginning to look like, yes, me too. And I have these, I try to keep them organized, so from different paper packs so that I don't use something that isn't included in the paper pack. But I still get stuff mixed up, but I do try to, and then what I do is I cut the little hanger-oners off. So maybe you're cutting something out and you have this little tiny edge on the edge of it. So I trim that off so that I have like a basic shape. And then I put it all in a pile. And, you know, sometimes I use it, but it just makes me feel better to have it, you know, and not toss it, you know, put it in the recycle. Okay. You guys, we're doing it. Okay, be sure to tell me if you want another live. Do you want another live with this journal, or do you want me to, I can just record them all and we could do something different next time. So I'm fine to do whatever. For all of you diehards that are still with me in this marathon live. I feel like I get more chatty too with everyone. I mean, what does that mean? But I do feel like I talk a lot now. more than I used to. But, you know, I'm also with my friends, so that makes a difference. My people. Okay. Okay, last one. All right, so now, okay, we've got this done. And now I can just glue this in. Okay, that is just so cute. Okay, it's a little bit off, but let's just push it up. Maybe that'll work. No, it's just going to be off a little bit, but it's okay. Who's going to notice? No one will notice. All right, so now let's glue this onto the page. So it's going to go on here just like that. Like so, and just kind of put that into the center like that. So darn cute. That is just so darn cute. Okay, so now let's put it in here. And remember, it glues so like an L. So we have to be able to see that edge like that when you glue it in. So not like this, where you don't see that edge. You got to be able to see the edge because there's all this three-dimensional stuff that we have to have room for. So now, I'm just going to glue this in just like this and let that dry just for a second. Oh gosh, are you serious? Oh, you guys, that was almost a fiasco. Did somebody catch that? Did somebody catch that? I just literally, I mean, fortunately, it was still wet, but I just about glued that backwards. Wow, has this day, oh, gosh. Okay, let's put it in this way. Oh my. Okay. There we go. I had glued it in upside down, you guys. Oh my. Yes, this is correct. This is the way it goes. Oh, wow. Okay, so now on this page, we're going to glue in this one. So these are the frame dies. You know, not the frame dies, but the layering dies. So the cover, there's cover. The large ones are the cover, and then the small ones are for the pages. And I use these all the time. Judy, good catch. You know what? I can't believe I caught that. Get yourself another coffee. Yes, that's what I need. I haven't had nearly enough caffeine today, so that's exactly what I need, is another coffee. Oh, gosh. Okay, here is the little pocket. And what set is this from? This is from the... Leah, are you on? What set is this from? The little pocket. And so this cuts out all the little, you know, openings cut out, and then it has all these little tabs. And it just glues in like this. So we're going to put this in. Like so. Glue that in. Fortunately, this glue dries really fast. I mean, unless you've glued it into the wrong page, you know, or upside down. So fortunately, it glues really fast. So I'm going to now put this one in like this. I'm going to just glue this background in. Just because I wanted a little different background in here when I put in that little book, the little booklet. And then the little booklet. So this is just a piece of this accent paper. So cut out and then fold it in half. And then you have your little book like this. And you could put a little, this is just the little mouse on a pumpkin. Just like that. And there we go. We've got our first page done. And our cover. So I will add a sentiment to that. And then, I mean, maybe we'll just add that little girl. Maybe we'll just add her to it. Like so. You know, she needs a home. And I feel like, you know, the cover would be a good spot for her. So, okay, you guys. Wow, are we finally finished with this? So let me go over the bundle again under the camera so I can show you guys. And then let me know in the comments, do you want another live? Or do we, looks good on the cover, Ellen says. Okay, Kathy loves her on the cover. Love the little booklet. Yes, Marianne, because I feel like that is such a, it's like a must have now. To have that little card or some kind of little booklet or something in the front, because that's where you want to put your note, you know, your special little personal note to someone, or, you know, just some kind of cute little mention or something personal that you want to say. I feel like that's just so necessary now. Okay, 3 fronts and back sets. So the little girl, 5776, the little guy, 5777, and the little dog, 5780. So these 3, and then these 2 die sets. So this is another front and back die set. So just like in the journal, cut out the opening, cut out the fence, put one on each side. Same with the window. And then it comes with this little shutters. And then this little beauty that I love, this little frame die for fall. And then this, the crown jewel, the paper pack. Love this paper pack so much. And there are 24 pieces inside, 2 of each, 80-pound paper, 24 designs. So you guys, this is the best. Absolutely love this paper. So 6 things in the bundle. You can buy it in the bundle or you can get it separately.